Welcome to another episode of the Fanzone podcast, your home for all things Bolton Wanderers, up the Trotters, the Northwest's #1 podcast.
Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Fanzone podcast. It is episode 169, titled Back to the Drawing Board, after last night's incredible advert for League One football live on Sky. We're here to discuss that. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about for an hour, but I'm sure we'll find some discussion points. But joined by me tonight, I have Cole. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not so bad. Thank you very much. Had a pretty good day. I've had a couple of days on the road, and then today I've been in my home office and managed to catch up, which is always good for the rest of the week. So yeah, had a good day. Thank you. Good.
Nathan, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Just want to apologise to everyone for me scraping my appearance by the last couple of seconds. I've been in London today, so it was a rush to get back. I had a train cancelled and things. So yeah, but we're here, we made it, and I'm so excited to talk about that fantastic game last night.
Yeah, it's all worth it in the end, and it rushing home for this for last night. I mean, luckily, I made the decision last night to go and play five-a-side as our team were pretty short on numbers, so I had to say no to my beloved Bolton Wanderers. And judging by the extended highlights that I watched today, and obviously follow along with the score, I think I made the right decision.
I think you did.
But yeah, let's get into it. Post-match reactions. Yeah, post-match reactions. Good evening, obviously, to all the regulars. How are you doing? Jordan, Pete, Ian, Radix. Yes, Radix, awful game of football last night. It absolutely was. I mean, from what I've seen anyway, luckily I only saw 10 minutes of it condensed down. Brandon, David, Josh, great to have you all here. So, yeah, as I said, I did not watch last night's game. I've just seen little snippets. So, I'll leave the talking to these two majority tonight. So, Cole, give me your post-match reactions.
Yeah, of course. I think, first of all, I don't think it was the want of trying in terms of us performing last night. Yes, it was a very poor game, but I can only put it down to the fact that they're an interesting side, to say the least. Your stereotypical scrapping League One side who have a lot about them in their own way. Obviously, they're playing against a club who's got a completely different, kind of budget and whatnot, and that kind of shows in their approach to how to play the game. Listen, I'm never going to be disrespectful to Stevenage in that respect, because obviously, like I said, it's a completely different kind of stratosphere as to kind of what they can afford to attract and play the brand that's going to be successful for them. I thought that conditions played a big part, if I'm honest with you. Not that that's an excuse, but obviously not only the conditions of the evening, but the conditions of the players following, obviously, Wigan game at the weekend, where they put everything into making sure that we got 3 points in that one. And then to traipse all the way down to Stevenage a couple of days later, it's going to have its toll, both mentally and physically. And I think that will have an effect on the game, to be honest with you, as well as obviously the weather conditions as well, which I've just alluded to. Doesn't help either, of course, that we've got Mason Burstow, who is, let's be honest, struggling at the moment right in front of goal. I think his all-round play is not bad, to be honest with you, but he's obviously lacking massively in front of goal, which is a bit of a segue into our section later on where we obviously delve into players where maybe things aren't going well or going well in player profiles. So we'll get into Mason later on this evening. But yeah, I think overall, I think it's one of them games where you just take the point and get home and hopefully come May, it's looked at as a good performance and a good point, because they've only lost once, haven't they, all season? I think that was to like an 88th minute, like deflected goal for Cardiff. So it gives you a bit of an idea as to how good they are at home. So, yeah, let's make sure we back it up on Saturday with a win.
Yeah, I think that's the important thing, isn't it? Backing it up with, and we've got Leyton Orient at home on Saturday and Burton at home on Tuesday night. And you look at them two games, and I know we did this before Christmas and all said, 4 wins, and it didn't quite materialise. But yeah, if you win them 2 games, all of a sudden it looks like a decent run. But yeah, it was one of them. I looked at it beforehand, and Stevenage, obviously, they started the season great, and they were top of the league after 9-10 games, something like that. And since have dropped like a bit of a stone. But so before the game, I was like, they've only won 2 in 14. We should be going there and winning. And then obviously, I looked after the game and kind of delved a bit deeper into it. And at home, their home record is 11 games played, 5 wins, 5 draws, 1 loss. As you mentioned, that 1 loss was at home to Cardiff, 1-0, an 85th minute winner. And they've only conceded 6 goals in 11 home games. Us, we've only conceded 7 in 13 home games, and we've had a pretty remarkable home record. So I think it's one of them. In hindsight, you kind of go, to be honest, we were never going to go there and smash them, because no one has this season. In fact, no one has for 2 or 3 years, really, apart from us when we beat them 4-1 last year. So yeah, do you see it as kind of, in hindsight, it's not a bad point, or do you still think it's a bit of an opportunity missed?
I think it's still an opportunity missed. I feel like it's going to sound really negative, but you mentioned Cardiff there nicking that win. They found a way to win. Yeah. And I just think it's a systemic problem that we've had, pre-Schumacher, but we just don't ever seem to find a way to win. Wigan was fantastic, great result, put a lot in, and I get it. And it is probably a good point on paper. But in reality, this is the kind of game against a team who, have been doing well this season, but let's be honest, a team that we should be beating. We've got to find a way to win these games, and that's what's so frustrating. Is, we didn't create any big chances as per the stats. There was no real clear-cut chances again. Koza Dewberry has that shot where he cut in early doors. I reckon if you went back to October, he probably sticks it in the back of the net, but he didn't. And that's what frustrates me so much, is it feels like we have the same conversation every other week, that we just didn't find a way to win. And then we name drop teams, and we probably have done since we kind of established ourselves again in this league. Teams have come down or been in our league, found a way to win, and got out of the league. Look at Charlton last year, the run they went on to get in the playoffs and go up. They found a way to win. And we just struggle to find a way to win. And I don't know what it is that we're missing. We have some real quality in the team. It's just frustrating to be here in the same boat again. A great result against Wigan. And yes, Cole's right. Long way to go. Wet Tuesday night. Saturday was big, but we've got to be trying to win these games. We're fast running out of fixtures, and we're going to come up to that. What is it, last 7 games of the season? I think we've got all them big boys. And before you know it, we'll be at that period going, are we going to make the playoffs if we've not got these wins against teams we should be beating?
Yeah. I think, sorry, Ben, I see your point on that one, Nath, but I think when you look at a recent run of form, I think you are right. We do have to find a way to win, but when you consider this is a team that, are trying to chase down that kind of 5th, 6th spot for the playoffs themselves, and when you add in the fact that we've been pretty poor of late in terms of our form, I think we should be looking at it slightly differently and thinking, you know what, it's a well-earned point. Ignoring the fact it's Stevenage in that respect, because if that were, I don't know, say we'd gone to Huddersfield and drew 1-1, or Luton and drew 1-1, who were in almost exactly the same position as where they are, we'd be looking at it and going, yeah, that's a good point, we'll take that. But I think because it's Stevenage, we're looking at it slightly negatively. And they do need to get a little bit more respect, I think.
They do need more. It's nothing to do with they're a well-organised team, and you know what you're going to get. But at the same time, I just, the teams that get out of this league find ways to win those games. And it could have been at Huddersfield, but we found a way at Huddersfield to do it. And then we found a way at Cardiff at home to do it. And it's just that, I don't know, is Wigan another false dawn? Is it another Huddersfield Cardiff back-to-back, where we won them 2 games? And then we go and lose to Swindon, and then we go and, go on that run. I don't know. It just sucks out any momentum I feel like the fan base had post-Saturday. But I think Stevenage away on a Tuesday night is going to do that to any fan base. You know what I mean? If you don't win.
I think it's hard to say right now if it's a good point or not, because it's one of them in a difficult run where we've lost a couple of games. It probably seems like a bit of a missed opportunity. Whereas, as I say, it's a big if. But if we do go and win these next 2 home games, which we should do, which we'll be massive favourites in, then it's a point in between 3 decent wins, and you kind of think, yeah, fair enough. So I think in isolation, you go, it's all right. In context, whereas in context, if we do win these next 2 home games, you'd probably say it's a decent point. But in the context of that's one of many away games against kind of lesser opposition where we've struggled to get past them. When you go back to Northampton, go to Burton, to Wickham, to Doncaster, and you kind of see a little bit of a pattern where we're struggling to put away teams like someone suggested in the chat, like we kind of did. Not to reminisce and romanticize over Everett, but even last season we went to Stevenage and won 4-1, went to Northampton and won 4-2, and kind of made it, and went to Crawley and won 2-0, and kind of made it look easier than we've made it look a lot of times this season on the road. Yeah, it is a difficult one. You did mention.
I just wanted to jump in there, Ben. Something you just said. Sorry to take off track.
No, go for it.
The worrying pattern for me is it's not even necessarily the away from home. It's that we're actually now carrying that inability to break teams down away from home back home. And I think that's why when you say, if you look at it in isolate, like when the run we're in, it's a frustrating point because it follows the same pattern of home and away now. It's not like at the start of the season where we were winning at home and away from home we weren't winning, and we were like, oh, it's come in, we're playing well. Now it seems to be the same thing across home and away. I don't know whether you boys agree, but that's just the way I think.
I disagree, to be honest with you, Nath, because I think when you look at it again, we've only lost 1 game at home this season. We have,
but I also think that our 2 worst home performances of the season have probably been the last 2 home games.
Most recent. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. But that's form, isn't it?
Recency bias plays a massive part in all of it.
It does. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, though, Nath, to be fair, but I just think, like you've just said, and rightly said, recency bias is huge in it, really. And you have to try and kind of remove that and think about the form which clubs go through good runs of form and bad runs of form.
Yeah, I mean, have you mentioned, Cole, when we I think it was after we drew to Northampton. It might have been after that, or it might have been after the Doncaster game. Everyone, you were saying, relax, everyone. It's just a blip, and that's what we have to make sure it is, just a blip, because as you say, everyone goes through a bad run of form. If, as I say, I keep saying, if we win these next 2 home games, we suddenly look back on the Christmas period as a blip, and then we've got 10 points since then, and we've pushed on, and whatever it's in the past. But if we don't, we stumble again in these next couple. It might look it's more of an extended bad run of form rather than a little bit of downturn, isn't it? So I think
a lot will stem from whether or not we can strengthen in the right areas.
You're right. I mean, it's the 21st of January now. We've got 10 days left of the window.
It's flown by that, isn't it? We've had nothing really.
I was pretty relaxed at the start of it, to be honest. And obviously the only 2 changes we've had really are forced changes, aren't we? With Bonham and Harrington coming in. Bonham just looked all right, but barely had anything to do in terms of shot stopping, but has looked pretty calm and confident. And Warrington obviously bench keeper, and obviously the young lad Temple centre half, who's I doubt we're going to see much towards the end of the season. But I feel like I did expect at least one first teamer outfielder signing by now, but I mean we'll see. As I said, there's still 10 days to go.
There's still 10 days to go, and obviously, like Shuey said a couple of times, he wants to streamline the squad and get players out that aren't going to play, and clearly, would be unhappy that they aren't playing. So Yeah, we need to do that, don't we? First of all, and then hopefully we can end the window strong. I'm not one of these that kind of like screams from the rooftops about signing players in January, because I think January signings are often players who other clubs don't want, and it's about signing the right player. And as we've been stung in recent times, it screams desperation at times. I don't think it needs that much, to be honest. I just think it maybe needs one or two, and I think that's all you're going to get, really. If anybody's sat there at home thinking, we're going to sign 5 players between now and the 1st of January or whatever, that ain't going to happen. I think it'll be one or two max, but I'm hoping that they're of a higher caliber of footballer in terms of coming from a higher league. That's my hope.
Yeah, you're right. January windows are very often quite underwhelming, aren't they? I think everyone goes into it thinking, right, it's another transfer window, let's sign a load of players. And then, I think
there's a bit of an obsession with signing players as well, from fan bases. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like it's the be all and end all. You have to sign players, all the time. It's crazy. Anyway.
Yeah. I think that's it. Unless anyone else has anything to add for post-match reactions. As I said, it's not too much to dissect from yesterday. But Statman always has his say. Let's see what he thought.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Gaffer's Notebook with the Statman, and today we're of course going to break down the most boring game of football I've ever seen in my life. To be quite honest, it was pretty poor, wasn't it? It was boring. But at the end of the day, that's probably a good point in it, considering they're probably the best defensive team in the league. So can you complain? Probably not. Was it a good game? No. But anyway, let's dive into it, shall we? The actual boringness of the game does kind of tell you how much you're crying out for a creative player in this formation. I guess it's in the front three. If you go back to the 4-2-3-1, then it'd be the number 10 position, obviously. But you are crying out for someone who can just play a pass behind the defence or just pop up in the pocket out of nowhere and spray it. Because, my God, it is a tough watch right now. It is literally moving the ball into the midfielders and then going, right, what do we do now? I don't know how to play football anymore. But let's dive into the actual game, shall we? So, you dominate the ball with 67% possession. Shocker. You actually look the much better side, which you've got to say. Fair play. It's not always been the case this season, has it? I thought the Sheehan-Simons midfield duo worked very well, even though Simons got hooked after an hour. Don't shoot the messenger, is all I'm saying. But they do seem to have quite a good understanding of when you're playing out, especially when one needs to drop off, or the rotations and just switching position and moving forward, and they just know where to be, which is very important when you're playing a midfield 2 and not a midfield 3, as of course you are now. But let's have a look at the stats, shall we? Sheehan made 8 passes into the final third at his creative best, as always, but you still need someone further ahead. 2 out of 2 ground duels won as well, and 3 ball recoveries. So it's a good performance from Sheehan, but he needs someone ahead of him who can do a similar sort of job. And that can't be him. He's a deep-lying playmaker. That's what he's good at. Mr. Xavier Simons then, 2 passes into the final third, 5 defensive contributions, 4 clearances, and 2 out of 2 aerial duels won. They just are a good partnership. And I did say they weren't earlier in the season, but I've quite happily been proved wrong on that. So let's move on. Mason Burstow had an interesting game. Now in this formation he's being asked to sort of play as a sort of number 10, hybrid winger type thing. Inside forward is probably the best way to call it. But he's not playing in his actual position, is he? He's not playing up front. And I just don't think he can play in these sort of positions. I thought he was actually alright, to be honest, even though I had a lot of people who disagree with that and they were quite happy when he got hooked. But I would have left him on and took Dolby off, which is of course quite the statement, as I've been so Dolby pro as of late. But you needed someone who could run the channels and drop off in certain scenarios and just sort of play an all-round game. And that is Burstow. He's not around centre forward. Dolby is just a very, very much a poacher, target man type thing. And that's just not Burstow, is it? But he was all right. I just quite liked him. I like how he plays football, which I understand sounds stupid, but he's just a nice player. But he's not an inside forward. He's not number 10. He's not an attacking midfielder. He is a striker, and you did look much, much, much better when Mr. John McAtee came on to replace Mason Burstow. He was very good, wasn't he? He made 2 dribbles, 2 passes into the final third, 2 shots, and he made 3 ball recoveries as well. Not that anyone's really bothered about that side of the game for him, but he was quite good, and those stats were all in just his half an hour on the pitch. But again, you imagine, instead of McAtee coming on, or McAtee was on, and when you took Cozy, I have no idea where you took Cozy Dewberry off when you needed a goal, and you brought on Big Heath. But that's a whole other different conversation. You imagine you had a creative player on the pitch at the end of the game. And yes, Josh Sheehan is a creative player, but I'm talking in the final third. There's a big difference between a deep line playmaker and an advanced playmaker. Not to get too Football Manager on your ear, but you need a playmaker in the final third so desperately. Like, football analysis is built on the zones of the pitch, right? And the zone just outside the box in the middle is called Zone 14. Every good team ever has had one of their best players in Zone 14 picking it left, right and centre. Can name you a couple of examples, but I don't need to, because you just think good attacking midfielders, blooming Ronaldinho. You know, there's blooming loads. Kaka, take what you pick, they're both Brazilian. There's millions in the Prem right now. Zone 14 is where the best players on the pitch need to be. And yes, Josh Sheehan can be a creative mastermind in that area, but then you won't get the ball to him because he's the one who plays it forward. So sign a number 10 for the love of God. Do it. Because, I mean, you've got rid of Randall now as well, so you kind of need to anyway. Not that he was the answer, but that's why I liked how Randall played, because, yeah, he wasn't good enough, but that he is that type of player. You had someone who was that profile, and every now and then he'd do something. He'd actually find a pass, play the right ball. And you just don't have anyone else who can come close to it. I mean, Burstow looked like the most creative man on the pitch in the first half when he nearly played Dolby in. But that was the only time anyone on the pitch did anything like that. You need a creative man, especially if Cozy Dewberry is going to play in that position as well. Because his game through balls and techie passes. No, it's not. It's dribbling past his fullback and getting a shot off. So you need a creative player. I've just knocked my camera, but you do. You need a creative player, and I'm going to leave it there for the Statman segment today, because I could quite easily rant about that for quite a while, as I'm sure you can tell. But yeah, you need a creative player desperately if you're going to keep playing this formation, and any formation for that matter. Sign one. All right, see you in a bit. Goodbye.
Cheers, Statman. Not cheers to whoever was commenting Delhi through the Fanzone account. I have no idea who that could be. But yeah,
ludicrous
anyway.
shout. Ludicrous.
Yeah, I would love to know when his last 90 minutes was, to be honest. He was linked with someone in Northern Ireland, was it, recently?
I'll tell you what a shame for that career, that lad. Like, I know obviously he's obviously had a lot of money and all that stuff, but what a talent as well. Like, obviously, everything that interview that he had with Gary Neville clearly opened up a lot of problems that he's had during his life, and obviously it's a real shame because I think he was a stunning footballer, weren't he? Like, let's be truthful.
He was. He got about 18 goals, I'm sure it was, at 21, 22, something like that, in the Prem.
Unbelievable.
Spurs. Yeah.
Quality.
Yeah.
Anyway, we digress. But yeah, we need number 10, so...
We do, Creativity was the word repeated about 10 times on it by the Statman, which, I mean, when we only had, I think it was 6 shots we had last night. And none of them were good chances, really. But yes, I digress. Let's get on to, if we can think of some ups. 3 up, 3 down. And there is 3 of us tonight. So.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. So yes, see if we can find some positives with that. Nathan, go for it, mate.
Oh, I didn't want you to come to me first. Just on number 10, I feel like someone needs to give Louis Barry a ring because he's been sent back to Villarani. So
Yeah, I think
get him.
he got sent back with an injury, to be honest. But
well,
yeah,
that is disappointing. Right, my positive from yesterday. Someone mentioned it in the chat earlier, and forgive me for forgetting where the mention came from. But Chris Farino, I thought he looked great, and I think he has done since we've switched up formation, which is a testament to him, considering he's not played a lot of football for a while. So, yeah, I think it's reassuring to know that we have a bit of depth there. But if we're playing three, obviously we don't maybe actually have the depth anymore. But yeah. It's nice to know that he's kept himself, in match sharp as well. So. Yeah, I'd go for three. And there it was. Josh said it. So, he stood out of the back three. I think it's nice to have someone else back there just to add a bit of reassurance because we all know that Toll and Johnston tend to have a slight wobble. So it's nice to have Farino back in there.
Yeah, I'm happy for him too because I mentioned it after the Wigan game, but I don't think he did much wrong at the start of the season at all, really. He started as him and Johnson, didn't he? And then I can't remember if it was either an international call-up or an injury, literally a 1 week injury or an illness that he missed out and Toll came into the team. And basically, that was it from then. But I felt a bit bad for him because he didn't really put a foot wrong. And then obviously moving to the back three has meant he's come back to the side and he was fantastic at Wigan. And yeah, sounds like he was good again last night. So yeah, happy for him. Cole?
Well, mine's not really to do with football, to be honest with you. It's last night, so it kind of counts. But just as I was sitting down to watch the game last night, I checked my emails and I've been sent a large selection of photographs from a recent event that the Fanzone podcast has been part of, which was very exciting. And that's all I'm going to say. I'll leave the rest to Ben later on. That was my hope anyway. Receiving an email.
Yeah. That's as good as it gets.
What a Tuesday.
Yeah.
What a Tuesday.
Fantastic. My up was, I think you probably guessed it, that I didn't watch it and I'm going to play football instead and we won. So, yeah. I got back to...
Sorry, Ben. I'll let you finish. I apologise. I thought you finished. Sorry, Ben. I was just going to say, just on Nathan's point before about the defensive depth or lack of, I think for me, it highlights the belief I think that they've got in Sam Inwood, who's obviously out on loan at Aldershot, because I think when we saw him last season, he's shown in very small doses that he's got quite a lot of talent at this level, and I think he's doing quite well at Aldershot as well. So I think that's something we should be keeping an eye on, and also the fact that he's obviously signed that lad early in the window from Ireland as well. Obviously, he's a right-sided centre-half, isn't he? So I think there is a little bit of depth there, Nathan, but maybe not staring us in the face, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, the switch came at a bad time for someone like Will Forrester, really, because who I think has subsequently got injured straight away. Rory, so yeah, poor guy. But yeah, I think in a two we had probably one too many centre halves, but now we're back in the three. We probably need another one just for cover, don't we? But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We're probably okay. Christie can fill in there as well, can't he? And
of course he can at right side.
Got good old Richard Taylor, who supposedly should be a lot better at centre half than he has been at left back. So if we ever need,
you were doing your up, by the way, Ben, and I rudely interrupted you, so I do apologise.
I mean, my up was I just didn't watch the game, so I got back in I basically listened to the first 20 minutes on the way there and the last sort of 10 minutes on the way back, and absolutely nothing happened. But yeah, we won last night at 5, so that was good, I guess. Personally, I got a win. Yeah, that was it, really. Nice. Downs, Nathan?
My down is going to be that I didn't get my refund for Stevenage because I had tickets for the first when it was meant to be on that Saturday. And then I ummed and ahed about going, and then it kind of got to the point where I couldn't get my money back. So, yeah, and the lad I was meant to be going with obviously never paid me for the first one because I was like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll sort it out." And then,
yeah, you're gonna call him out now?
I'm not gonna call him out. I can't. I'm not gonna ask him for the money. But yeah, that's definitely my down.
Gutted. Cole?
Yeah, just to touch upon the football again, unfortunately. But yeah, my down was the pass from Thierry Gale to John McAtee in the last seconds of the game last night, where I think if he finds that, he's through on goal, and clearly John McAtee's in a bit of a confident mood at the moment. I think he might have fancied himself running through on goal in the last few minutes of the game. So that's a real shame that Thierry Gale didn't quite find that pass accurately. But that is the level that we are at, and I have to keep reminding myself of that. Right?
Yeah. That was one of them. I was listening on the way home, and I think I heard McGinley do a massive groan or sigh of disappointment when that, because McAtee. I mean, from what I heard, McAtee was pretty much through on goal, and yeah, it would have been a decent chance. But yeah, you're right. That's the level we're at, and it's very frustrating. For my down, would probably be that I watched the extended highlights, which was somehow, I think, 9.5 minutes, and genuinely about 6 minutes of it was nothing. It was just passing about or a cross into the box that got headed away, because literally nothing happened last night in terms of goal mouth action. So yeah, and just and to add to that, it's just I really wanted us to push on from Wigan, like you said, Nathan. I kind of not expected to, but in my head I was like, right, if we can push on and statement win after Wigan and at Stevenage, then into the 2 home games, and takes a bit of pressure off. But yeah, no, it wasn't to be. We're struggling creatively at the minute. I know Statman went on and on about it, but yeah, it's one of probably the lowest amount of shots we've had all game and all season really in a game. So yeah, let's hope that doesn't continue.
Speaking of creativity, and I can't believe that we didn't have this as an up, just an additional up, if it's all possible. New York Mayor Mamdini, however you pronounce his name.
Oh yeah.
Shouting out JJ Kocher and playing for the Wanderers yesterday. There is a little bit of creativity in JJ Kocher, of course. That would be nice these days. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool and a timely reminder of how massive of a football club we are when the Mayor of New York shouts us out.
He chose him over Drogba as well, didn't he? I'm pretty sure. Was it Drogba? No, Yaya Toure it was, wasn't it?
Yaya Toure.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I think his words were, Yaya Toure has won everything, but he didn't play for Bolton Wanderers like a Kocher.
Yeah, that's so true. Glory hunter, wasn't he?
That's as good as it gets, really, isn't it? Playing for Bolton Wanderers. Who cares about trophies and all that lot?
I think a little bit of that through gritty teeth, I think, as well, because obviously he's an Arsenal fan, isn't he? So he would have saw back in the day where we used to beat Arsenal and put it up against them every time we played them, didn't we? So he might not through gritty teeth, I think that one. But pretty cool.
Yeah, cool nonetheless. Cheers, boys. Tough to get ups after a result and a performance like that, but yeah, we managed it. It's now time for your section, the fans section. It is Fanzone Fan Focus.
Not to kind of take over as the host, because Ben's hosting tonight, as you can
I know.
See. You know exactly what I'm going to say, don't you, Ben?
I do know exactly what I'm going to say.
Yeah. So shall we run the VT again?
Let's pretend that last 30 seconds didn't happen, because I can see Nathan thinking, "Where's my section gone?" So here we go, mate. It's player profile time. Sorry, Nath. I looked up and it said 32 minutes. I was thinking, God, is there that little to talk about? We're on Fan Focus already, and then it clicked as the jingle was playing. I thought,
Jordan's called you out, and I think you're right, Jordan. I think he should be barred from hosting duties.
Sorry, no. Jordan to let you down. Go on, Nath. Take it away.
So I thought we thought we'd deep dive a little bit into Burstow, or just have a discussion around his performances and kind of how he's been playing ever since he last contributed to a goal. Really, I know Statman mentioned him in his video, but just to throw some stats kind of about Burstow at you guys. So he's played 27 games for us since he came in, and that's 24 starts. And he's got 7 goals and 3 assists. Now, I think if we were sat here and he'd scored 7 goals across those 27 games, and he'd scored against Wigan and assisted against, someone over Christmas, we'd probably be going, that's a decent return for a lad who was previously only scored 6 goals at Charlton, 1 at Chelsea, 2 at Hull, I think he got last year, and 32. So we'd probably take it. But he started in such fine fettle that it's a real shame to see him stagnate on 7. So he's not contributed to a goal since Port Vale at home on the 8th of November when he got 2 assists. And his last goals came against Peterborough at home. Now, that seems an awful long time ago. Yes, Cole, that is right.
When was that?
We're going back to October. I can't remember the exact date, but we're going back to October where his last goals.
It was
October
that was our 11th game of the season. That was. Cause I specifically remember him having 7 and 11 after that, and then now it's obviously
so
7.
He scored 7 goals in 11 games, and yet since then he scored 0. So just to put that in perspective, his XG for the season is 7.15. So he was obviously overperforming his XG massively in that first part of the season, and it's kind of leveled out. Now, he's had 56 shots this season for us, and 16 of them have been on target. Now, I don't think that's probably a good enough return for a player who's had over 40 of those shots in the box. And that, I think, is where the main issue for Wanderers fans comes with Burstow. He hasn't necessarily looked shocking. His all-round play is great. That pass for Dolby yesterday was fantastic. That almost came off. The defender did fantastic to kind of cut that out. But we don't want him to be creating chances. We want him finishing them. So per 90, just to give you gentlemen the stats, he has 0.3 goals per 90 with a 0.34 XG. He's having around 2.5 shots and creating just under 2 chances a game. Now, 2.5.
In other words, he's finding himself far too much outside the box than in the box in recent weeks.
I think that's the problem. And
sorry, Ned. Your stats are absolutely right, but I think you can use your eyes to tell you that, can't you, as well?
Yeah, of course you can. You can see how he's playing, and the misses he's had, unfortunately for him, have been honking. Northampton, Wigan at the weekend was, I know he's not in form, but as a striker, you can't ask for a better chance, a better place to kind of break a duck than inside 7 yards away at Wigan with no one around you, and the ball just sat there and he's dragged it wide. So I don't know how he gets out of this rut, but I don't think it's all on him. I still don't think he's necessarily getting those clear-cut chances. Nick says there he's missed 3 big chances over the past couple of months, and he has missed 3, but he's not getting those tap-in chances. He's not getting those one-on-ones with the keeper necessarily. So I don't know how you guys think we fix him, whether you stop playing him, whether we leave him as, on the bench and have someone like McAtee alongside Dolby to start games and freshen it up and take him out of the firing line, or is he too important to our all-round play?
I'm happy to go first, Ben. I'm sure you've got plenty to say on it, being how well educated you are with football. But from my perspective, I think that one of the biggest stats that you seem to have missed out, Nathan, of all them stats, was the fact that he's only 22 years old. And I think when you're leading a line for a club of our stature in this league, that comes with pressure that not everybody can deal with on a week-by-week basis. So I think that's a big problem for him, that he's not really got the experience playing in big games consistently to deliver. So what I mean by that is I think he probably needs somebody a little bit more senior within the squad in that final third that can kind of help him a little bit and bring the best out of him as well. A little bit like Sam Dalby's doing at the moment, but maybe someone a little bit more intricate than Sam Dalby, but who's maybe that little bit older than Mason Burstow, if that makes sense.
Cameron Jerome, anybody?
Yeah. No, I do. I think he just needs somebody a little bit older with him to kind of help perform better.
Yeah. I agree to an extent, but I also think the top 3 goal scorers in the league this season are Don Ballard, who's 20, Yusuf Salek, who's 24, and Laurent Salai, who's 24. So I do understand what you mean about a bit more experience would go a long way, but I also think, as you mentioned, Nathan, he's got 7 goals and 7.3 xG was it? So he's pretty much level for the season. He's pretty much as expected. And I would imagine in the first 11 games when he had 7 goals, he was probably around double. And as Russ is brilliantly on time, it's not supply and burst though, which is the problem, because and as Nick mentioned, he's missed 3 big chances over the last couple of months, but that's over the last couple of months. You expect your strikers to have a big chance every game, really, and if he misses 4 in a month, it also doesn't matter because he'll score 4. Whereas they're basically the only 3 decent chances he's had. I felt like even at the start of the season when he was scoring, he was kind of still feeding off scraps a little bit because, as I said, he had 7 goals. I don't really remember a chance he missed in the first 11 games. So he pretty much had 7 chances, if that, and scored them all. And then as soon as you don't score in it, as soon as you don't score every single chance you have, you kind of start realizing that he's not got that many chances.
I think
that's all. I think over the last month or so, our system has been set up to supply Dolby a lot more. I mean, especially I remember a Wigan game. It told Dolby had two decent chances. He obviously scored against Peterborough, didn't he? He had the massive chance against Mansfield where he was, basically had a tap in and played it to the wrong side of the keeper. I think Dolby, the way we've set up has been to feed Dolby, and Burso's kind of been shoved into that kind of second striker left wing role where I don't think he properly suits. But yeah, I don't know if the answer is to play someone else there or change it so it is more of a 2 up top and bring the number 10. But then where does that leave Cozy Dubry? I don't know. I feel like it's a bit of a tough one.
I think looking at what you guys in the chat are talking about, the supply, and Max mentions about cutting inside with these crosses, and I agree with him there, because that goal he scored against Plymouth, Burstow, we got it down the line, fired it across early, and he was there to finish it. And he said when he joined, "You put it in the box, it's my job to be there." Now, I can't remember the last time he had a chance with a cross whipped in. I don't know, Dolby scored the one where Conway crossed it, but they're so few and far between where we actually get past the fullback and whip it across. And his chances he's getting are almost, he's snatching at them because they're so few and far between. And I think that's leaning into what you're saying, Cole. He's in a rut, he's young, there's pressure because he's on a drought, and he's not getting chances. So when he gets them,
and he's going looking for the ball as well. He's dropping far too deep to try and influence the game because he isn't scoring and he's desperate to score. And whether that's instruction or whether that's a subconscious thing or a conscious thing, I'm not sure. But there was an incident, I can't remember the game the other week. I can't remember who it was against. This is a bit of a moot point in many respects because of that. But essentially what happened is Mason Burstow came off the bench and all of a sudden we started crossing the ball. It was a game when Aaron Morley started swinging loads of crosses in from deep areas.
Mansfield,
yeah, that was it. And we took Dalby off. He started the game and brought Burstow on with like 10, 15 minutes to go. And Burstow's on the edge of the D, like when we're picking the ball up in the wide areas. That's because he's trying to link play from deep areas instead of getting in the box. When the message should probably be, get on your shoulder your defender, run the line like a proper centre forward, get you back to goal, spin your centre half, and get yourself in the box. But that's probably because he's just not confident and he's looking for the ball.
Yeah, you're right. It's frustration, isn't it? It happens. I mean, and Cozy Dubry's been doing it, hasn't he, recently, where when he's been frustrated, he drops deeper and deeper trying to get on the ball. I mean, there was times I remember the Wigan game, he was basically picking it up like 20 yards inside his own half.
It was like that last night, Ben. You didn't see the game, did you? He did it a few times last night. He was dropping in, he practically hit right back at one point. Deeper than Ossie Tutu.
Yeah, and I get it. Good players want to be on the ball, especially when it's not going well for them. They want to try and affect the game as much as they can, but sometimes it isn't the best thing to do. It's just stay. You need someone to shout him. Just stay in your position. Your chance will come.
Yeah, very true.
Sorry, back to you, Ben. I don't have any more stats. I think we've kind of, delved into him enough, and we can just hope that one comes off his backside on Saturday. That's all we can pray for.
That's exactly what I was going to finish on. Just that's all he needs. Just one off his knee or his arse or his back, whatever.
Yeah.
Anything.
Just wants it. Hit him and go in.
Yeah.
Or a penalty would be ideal. Wouldn't it? I'd one of them this season. That'd be all right, wouldn't it? If we could have a penalty.
It's the 21st of January. We've not had a penalty in the league yet. What is going on? Yeah,
Crazy.
It's gonna turn at some point. I don't know what. I'm sure. I can't remember. It's someone in the league has had like 7 already this season. I can't remember. Maybe Cardiff. No, I don't think it is Cardiff. Lincoln, maybe. I don't know. Someone in the top has had 7 penalties, and we've had none. So yeah,
that's a joke, by the way, because we should have had at least 5.
Yeah. It'll come. Hopefully, and hopefully it's Burstow to break his duck and gets him back on track. But yeah, thanks, Nathan. Good research as usual. Now let's get on to fan focus. 45 minutes. That's the right time now, isn't it?
That's
pretty
about
much.
right. Yeah. Well done, Ben.
Fan focus time. Yeah, time to relinquish the hosting duties again. It's called. Go on, sorry, mate.
No, it's all right. So let's get the old fan focus on the road. Just a couple tonight. Obviously, we've been trying to encourage you guys to put some stuff in the chat to dissect, and we've got a couple. I've saved a couple. One from Nick and one from Max that got put in earlier on in tonight's episode. We'll start with Max's question, or more of a comment, really. Obviously, there's a lot of conversation around at the moment in terms of formation and whether we go with 3/5 at the back or 4 at the back or whatever else. And I kind of thought I'd throw this to you, to be honest with you, lads. Max has asked or said, would like to see that Conway and Tutu could do as wingers, or on the wing, should I say, in a 4-2-3-1. Obviously, big part of what Osei Tutu can do as a lad who came through at Arsenal as a wing back is play, obviously, offensively. We've seen that in some very good performances in recent weeks. Occasionally question marks, I think, in that final third. But a lot of people seem to like the thought of Max Conway in a more advanced areas. So I thought that's a good question to ask, really. I'll start with Ben, as he's doing his usual Churchill impression, nodded away like a nodded dog in the back of that car from back in the day. Do you like the thought of that, Ben?
I don't hate it, yeah. I don't hate it at all. I think the first thing I would say to that is we need another left back, and probably Christie would be all right right back behind Tutu if that was to happen. But yeah, I don't hate it at all. I've liked Conway as a wing back, so he gets him further up the pitch. I still would like him to see him more like getting into the box, really. And there was a chance, wasn't he, at Wigan where he got onto the end of that deep cross. I just think he's got a good strike on him. He's got a good like attacking attributes. I think I'd just get him more in the final third. So I wouldn't hate it, and it means that both wingers on the strong foot, which how many times I said this season we're down out for more crosses to the box and to stop cutting inside as much as we have been doing. I think we've improved on that last couple of weeks. Obviously, started playing the 5 back with them 2 on the strong side. Yeah, I don't hate it at all. And I'll say Tutu, yeah, I just want to give a shout out for him because I think alongside Josh Sheehan, he's probably been one of our best players over the last couple of months.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I've been impressed pretty much every game. I thought he gave absolutely everything at Wigan. And yeah, he's one of them. I think I said it after Wigan, and I'm kind of expecting him to break down at some point, but it's not happened yet. So yeah, long live a fit Jordi Osei-Tutu flying up the right hand side. Yeah, I don't hate it at all.
Just on Tutu as well, last night, just very quickly before Nathan has his 2 penneth on this, I thought he was probably the only player on the pitch, as far as our players are concerned, who actually match them up physically and kind of give it back a little bit.
Yeah, I've been really pleasantly surprised at how like nippy, how
aggressive,
eager and aggressive he is to get into, to go in and massively challenge someone. Because I feel like I'd probably stereotyped him wrong as a little nippy winger that'll go down at any contact, but he's the complete opposite, really, where he properly gets stuck in, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his. I really like him. I think he's a level above this league, to be honest with you. When he's on it and he's performing how we all know he can, then I think, yeah, he's a really good player to have. Especially on that right-hand side, I think, with Mario, hopefully when he starts to become the best version of himself again, I think we could really have a force on that right wing. What do you think, Nathan, about that 4-2-3-1?
Yeah, no, I think obviously Tutu is getting the love he deserves. I won't add much to that because I think I agree with everything you say. On putting Conway further forward, my only issue with it is, again, I sound so negative, but I think his best work with the ball is when he starts at left back and he runs forward. I don't think, not that I can remember, where he stood a defender up and gone round him. The majority of his runs, he's already kind of built up ahead of steam. He's
Galloping.
past one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not. I don't think he's quite got. If you look at Geordie, if you put Geordie standing up against a fullback, you can see him dropping a shoulder and nipping it and going. Yeah. I don't see Max having, he might prove me wrong, but I don't see him having necessarily the quick feet and the shoulder drop. But when he's galloping and he's got that ball coming from deep, he's unstoppable. So I think you'd actually lose that from him by having him further forward. So I'd keep him at fullback and just have someone in front of him that, offers a bit more of consistency. Because I think the issue he's having at the moment is there's no consistency in front of him. Whether it's Gale, whether it's been Sissoko, there's just, he's not been able to build up that relationship with the winger that you would have hoped he could have done.
Yeah, you're right. Just on Gale, I've been so frustrated with him because I made a song and dance about him after he came back and he scored a couple of goals and he looked back to what he was just before he got injured, and I was buzzing for him, thinking, all right, injury's done nothing to him. He's back to, it took him a few games to get up to speed at the start of the season, and then it looked like he was in top form, and obviously then got injured and came back, and looked great again for his first 3 or 4 games. But I don't know what's happened. It's just a lack of confidence, a lack of, feels like just the lack of composure in the final third, which has massively let him down. I mean, I think the Peterborough game really done him over, and he's barely got a minute since. How long did he come on for last night? Was it for 10, 20 minutes, something like that? Not that
Less
long.
than that. Less than that.
Not long.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, shame. I hope he gets a run in the team and proves himself again, because, again, in short bursts, he's looked really good, but it's just inconsistency, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so just the last point was Nick's point as far as the fan focus is concerned. Nick has said, when was the last time we genuinely looked like we could win by a comfortable margin? With our possession, players / squad and shots on goal, we need to be converting so much more and pushing on. I suppose we could end with the need for reinforcements. My question to you both is which areas in that final third, which I think is clear, we need to strengthen in. Which areas would you be strengthening? What type of caliber of player do we need to sign? I'll start with Nathan on that one.
I think we need someone who's gonna. People have talked about someone who can pick a pass, or I don't actually think that's what we need in that 10 role. We need someone who's going to draw players to them, because we're playing teams who sit deep. We've got Shea, we've got Morley. They can pick a pass, but I think I said it about Randall a few weeks ago. They can't pick a pass if you've got 10 players in front of you. You need a player who's going to get the ball, and 2 or 3 of them are going to come to him. A bit like they do with Koji Dewberry, but he's out wide, so it's not quite the same as in the middle, drawing players to you and then creating space. I just think we missed that. We missed someone who's going to get the ball, skip past one player, and then, draw a centre half out, draw someone else out of position where it opens up the space. Because right now, we're not actually creating the space, because the defenders are thinking, you can pass it around all you want. You're not going to get it through that gap. And we're sat on our 18-yard line, so there's no space to put it behind anyway. So, I don't know who that would be. I can't even think of anyone we've had like that. Magoma, maybe.
I was just about to say, without wanting to sound lazy and just going for a former player, someone in the mold of Paris Magoma is exactly what we need, isn't it? I mean, obviously, getting someone that quality at this level is hard, but someone who can drop a shoulder and beat a man like
Kieran Lee.
Kieran Lee, yeah.
That's who you'd want. Someone like
Yeah.
Kieran Lee who's got the nous. You don't want a young player who's unproven. You want someone who's clever and someone who knows how to, either move the ball quickly or create the space. That's what I think we'd need.
Yeah.
Going against what you said before about Louis Barry, then Nathan.
Yeah, sack him off. I don't know who said that. He no idea what he's talking about. Sack him off.
Go about you then,
But
Ben.
no,
Yeah, I'm conflicted really because we've tried every man and his dog at number 10 this season and no one has really worked more than about 60 minutes in a game. So I don't know whether it's worth just saying we've tried the experiment with too many players and it's the position and the role in the system that's a problem, or it is a personnel issue and it's on someone else with more quality will come in and play that position better. So, but then I also think, Marcus Forss is injured at the minute, isn't he? I don't know what the timescale is for that. And to be honest, he's been pretty underwhelming since his first start against Wigan. He's not really shown that much. I think he needed probably a run of 4 or 5 games up front in a 2 next to someone, and he's just not got that because, when he came in, Burstow was on fire, so he was never going to get the place out of them. And it's only recently we started playing 2 up front, and he's just got injured.
You could see a Force and Dalby working together, though.
Yeah, you could, yeah. And it probably would work, but I just think the timing and obviously his injury is not worked. I would be surprised if he was still here, to be honest, at the end of January. But say there's only 10 days left, because if he's injured, and even he's not been injured, he's not been contributing that much anyway. If it opens up another loan spot, obviously we've got another loan spot with Sharma going back, so maybe we don't need it. I don't know.
There are one or two, and we aren't that pod. We aren't the rumour mill, but there are 1 or 2 rumours this evening.
Yeah.
That, Ibrahim Sissoko might be on his way back to France. So
is that another Twitter in the know? Yeah.
But supposedly, yeah.
So
But,
take it with a tiny pinch of salt, but yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. A Ryan Hardy piece of salt.
don't look at me.
Say nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not even from Bolton.
Never.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe a 7th number 10 will do the job, or maybe sack it off and get another striker into a place. Force, I think.
And that's your lot. Thank you, Ben.
Cheers. No worries. Thank you, Cole. Thanks everyone in the chat for contributing. That's your lot tonight. 57 minutes, not done too bad. I was before we came on tonight, I was thinking, what the hell are we going to talk about for an hour? But we'll somehow always waffle on, don't we, for long enough. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope we've not bored you as much as last night bored you. Obviously, a massive thank you to Leanne. I love my socials, top sponsors. Check the links out in the description. All that good stuff on the website. And we are back tomorrow night with a preview show, which was going to be a doubleheader until we realised it was going to be a doubleheader of Leyton Orient and Burton until we realised that Burton are live on Sky away at Lincoln tomorrow night. So obviously not going to get Burton.
Really? I look forward to that one.
I know, yeah.
Sit down and watch that.
Yeah. So obviously, Ed wasn't gonna duck out of watching his club to come on the pod. So we're hoping to get that on Monday night instead. So you got that to look forward to. Also to look forward to, check our socials tomorrow. And I'm not going to say too much more. A little teaser tonight. And Cole, maybe you mentioned something earlier on, but yeah, that's all you lot. Earlier, but that's all you lot. You can find out tomorrow and later on in the week some exciting stuff behind the scenes. But yeah, that's all we've got time to say tonight. So yeah, we'll leave you on that cliffhanger. Cole, thanks for joining us, mate.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, gentlemen, and everybody listening and watching.
Thank you, Nathan, for coming in looking very smart last minute.
Oh yeah, I was never going to miss it.
He sat there in his boxer shorts, though. He's just got his shit in.
I won't stand up to prove it.
No, please don't.
And on that note, I'll see you later, ladies and gents. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening.